Welcome back to Season 2 of the Love Letters to Virginia podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Pasmino. Thanks for listening. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, how are you today?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
How long have you been collecting beautiful vintage clothes?
Well, I've been collecting since I was 16 years old.
Okay.
To be very honest with you. And my sisters and I, we would just go to thrift stores and yard sales and antique shops, and so that's about the gist of it. It's just been since I was about 16. When I was old enough to, my mom allowed us to go out and about without her supervision. So
Okay.
I've always had a taste for vintage. It's just always been so classy, so mature. At 16, it was just the pieces, and I just love sequins. It's just one of my faves.
That's fun.
Yeah.
What's your favorite era?
1920s.
Okay.
And then I love the 70s. 20s for formal and 70s for play.
Okay.
Yeah.
And both of them kind of utilize the sequins.
Yes, yeah, and they're spunky. Like the 70s is so spunky, so fab, so classy. You know, and again, so are the 20s. It's just so classy. The women back in the 20s, they were just sequenced in jewelry, pearls, and, you know, things like that. Not so revealing as today's dresses and things are. Not. They didn't show all of their cleavage, and it wasn't tight to the body and that kind of thing. They left something to be desired, in my opinion.
An element of mystery is always nice.
Yes.
So, did you grow up in Virginia?
No, I'm from New Jersey.
New Jersey, okay.
Born and raised in New Jersey, so I grew up in New Jersey. I've been here since 1993.
Nice.
So I think I'm coming up on about 30 years.
Beautiful. When did you start the business?
In 2012. So it's been 9 years. June 1st of 2022, this year, will be 10 years for me.
Beautiful.
I know. I'm still excited. Every day I walk in the business, I'm still excited. I go to bed with the business on my mind. I wake up with the business on my mind, and through the day, it's about the business. What can I do to continue to reinvent myself? You know, of course, because of COVID, the economy is changing, and people aren't shopping. They're not going out as much. So therefore, some of my looks, they don't require, you know, everything is so relaxed now, you know. However, I do notice that the younger generation, they love the vintage. They remind me of myself, to be very honest with you, when I was their age, because again, it was so mature. So they're looking for that mature, classy, funky, dressed down look, you know. So it's been coming up on 10 years.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
How do you recognize someone from Virginia?
Well, I'm not from Virginia, but how do I recognize people? And I don't want to be offensive either.
Right.
But when I first moved here, it was funny. People would say, I'm going to make grocery. Meaning they were going to the grocery store. I'm like, you want to make grocery? But they only meant that they were going to the grocery store. Let me see. I don't know what else. But recognizing people from Virginia, I just have to say, people are people. And so I don't judge, you know, I guess I don't look beyond the moment that they're in. If they're in the shop, they're in the shop. Whether they're, you know, I may, you know, talk and ask where they're from and things like that, and that's how I recognize it. But other than that, I don't know. I can't say that the accent helps me. You know, some people say I still have that up north accent, and I appreciate knowing that I still have that, because I don't want to lose that. You know what I mean? Because that's where I'm from. So I don't know how to recognize people from Virginia. I mean, because this is a military town. And so there's people that come from all over. So it's hard to, because you're in Virginia doesn't necessarily mean you're from Virginia.
That's true too.
If that makes sense.
Oh, thank you for that.
I hope I answered.
You did. It's just, there are different things that people say. There are always phrases that come to mind almost immediately. So that's the one thing. It's more like you're sitting somewhere having dinner, not in Virginia, and you just hear someone say something and you're like, wait a minute.
They're from
there.
Yeah. And so I think it was going to make grocery for me.
That's funny. I've never heard that.
Yeah. And that was when I first moved here back in like 94. Maybe I moved here in 93, but probably 94 when I was feeling and finding my way around and, getting to know my environment, building my thoughts on how I was going to launch my boutique. Because again, it's been a long time dream. It's just been, and so I'm actually living my dream, and I'm humbled by that because God has really given me the desires of my heart. In this instance, there are so many desires of my heart, Lord. I hope you're listening. So,
amen.
Yeah.
I think it was probably a great time for you to come here when you did, because as you may remember, things were, very small scale here, and we kind of came here in the 757's coming of age.
Oh, okay. Okay. How long have you been here?
Since 96.
Okay.
So, it used to be a lot of greenery.
Right.
And now there's just, it's competitive for business.
It has really, really grown. When I moved here, I moved to the Hilltop area.
Okay.
And you see what the Hilltop area looks like now. It is huge. I mean, just stuff all over the place. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It has grown.
Well, I'd like to thank you for being a part of Virginia Beach's time capsule.
Well, thank you. And time capsule it is.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is a time capsule. So thank you. I am honored to be in this area. It's been very, very rewarding for me. When I moved here, my best friend's mom said to me, "You're moving to Virginia, and that's a lady's name." She said, "And she'll be good to you." And so I never ever forget that, because Virginia has been good to me. It has again opened up my dream and allowed me to create, live, and help, where I can and when I can, the community. So yeah, it's been. I'm honored. I am honored. I've had the governor in. I've had quite a great experience with my business. It's not been easy. There's good days and there's bad days, but the good days have definitely outweighed the bad. Yeah.